Today we're at Bath Abbey with Huw Williams, who's the canon for music or the director of music here. And it's a beautiful setting. The music is so powerful here. And I really admire your craft and the work that you're doing with these young people to make such an extraordinary sound, even going to worship. I was like, these young men are leaders. And we're in this new choir room. Were you here when they were doing the building of that?
Yes, this is amazing. It's perhaps one of the best song schools, I think, in the country, if not the world. And you've been on the outside. It's a bit like Doctor Who. You watch Doctor Who in America, the TARDIS.
Yes.
And the outside are basically 5 Georgian buildings. And inside here, we're in 2 Georgian buildings, knocked into one double floor. We're in the basement level and the first floor. And it's purpose built for the Abbey Song School. It's opened in 2021, just at the end of the pandemic, when children were allowed to mix again. So it is a God moment suddenly for us, when suddenly this room was available for us. With a lovely purpose-built acoustic, and we were allowed to mix. So there's a great time in May 21 when it opened.
Yeah, even hearing the sound of the room right now, the acoustic is so good. What advice did you give them when the architect said to you, what would you like in a choir room?
Well, the design was done a long time before I came. So the main issue about the room is that when it's full of 50 people singing quite loud,
Yes.
it doesn't dominate you in a way, because obviously we're producing a sound for the Abbey, and the Abbey is a wonderful building, but you've got to work hard to make the sound make the sound come out. So the song school, when you sing in the song school, it's not overwhelming. So there's a little bit of resonance, as you can tell.
Yeah.
It's probably half a second, with the Abbey probably has 5 or 6 seconds, depending whether you're singing high or loud. It'll be longer if it's higher and louder. But so there's less acoustic in here than the Abbey, but compared with a normal room, there's a much more kind of vibrant sound. It's wood on the walls. You can see on the top, there's stuff to dampen the sound, so it doesn't get overwhelming.
Yeah.
It's to make it basically purpose built for what we need to do, and it works jolly well for us.
Yeah, it does. And I can imagine you rehearse sometimes in here, and then the boys have a chance to sing in rehearsal conditions in the Abbey.
It's in the UK, it's common to rehearse mostly in the song school and then sing in the services, depending how busy the churches are. We're the 5th busiest church for visitors in the UK, so that means ahead of us is St Paul's Cathedral, Westminster Abbey, York and Canterbury.
Right.
So we're busier, therefore, than
Everywhere else.
Winchester, which you think would be busier than we are,
Salisbury.
and Salisbury, and Wells Cathedral, that were close to us, and we're a smaller building, so the impact on visitors in the building.
That's a huge issue.
Huge issue. Yeah.
Just scheduling people that having a chance to practice their work.
Yeah, and there's a nice free song to the choir as well if you rehearse in this room, which is it's more intimate. So I can say not quite together, or and then when you go in the building, then the acoustic gives you a bit of a buzz, and an audience congregation gives you a buzz. So I generally like to rehearse here more than perhaps in the Abbey, because you can work on detail. Also, the interlink between the organist and the conductor. You say to the organ, "Can you play a bit quieter, or a bit louder, or faster?" But actually, if the person's next to you on the piano, you say, "I think you need to breathe there."
Yes.
So there's an intimacy of music making here, which you don't get in the building. Obviously, you've got to have a bit of both, but it's like in the theatre, when the curtain goes up, there's a kind of,
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And I can imagine the boys too, practicing here. It's almost like working out and wearing weights, and then they take the weights off. And
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about what you love about Anglican choral music. Like, what is it about the tradition that speaks to you? I mean, you've dedicated your life to this work. Like, what do you love about it?
I love liturgy. I mean, I love the kind of the seasonal changes. I mean, the children and I feel perhaps Good Friday in a different way to perhaps somebody in the congregation.
Yes. Yeah.
And Ash Wednesday, and then the joy of Easter. If you haven't done Good Friday, the joy of Easter doesn't feel the same, does it? So the music speaks to you in a kind of special kind of way. Plus there's the sense of pilgrimage, not just literal, historical. I'm not the first person to sing this. It's been there historically. As a musician, the range is fabulous. It's like going into a kind of, would you say sweets? I don't know, do you say sweets or candy? Going into a candy shop and going, oh look, Palestrina. Oh look, Stanford. Oh look, it's Messiaen. Oh look, it's Poulenc. And the excitement of that, and the range of stuff we do to colour different seasons, and Gwydiad, the intensity of Gwydiad, and you tell the choir that Anish Day was written at the end of the Second World War, when they thought of being liberated, and they were, but then the Russians came who were worse than the Nazis.
Yes, right.
So you feel that in the music. So that is something which is alive and historical. So that's the excitement for me. There's so much the music, you know, and I hope to pride myself on picking as high quality music as you can. So on a bad day, when I'm having a bad day, Brahms or Bach or Mozart aren't.
Yeah.
The same for the kids. When the kids leave the choir, Mozart goes with them.
Yes, that's right.
You know?
That's right. And what a gift that
Yeah,
it goes with them, not just that day or that
Yeah.
week, for the rest of their lives. They have that as part of their subconscious landscape.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if you can talk a little bit about what makes the Abbey special, maybe acoustically, like the organ and the music there. Is there a unique tradition where someone says, oh yes, Bath Abbey, that's where they...
Bath Abbey is a curiosity, because we're essentially a parish church,
Yeah.
but in many ways we present like a cathedral. We're governed like a parish church, but we present, because of the visitor numbers, is like cathedrals, and the building feels like a cathedral. The acoustic is amazing, and the fan vaulting is the same people who built the fan vaulting who built King's College, Cambridge, and St George's, Windsor, and Eton Chapel, because the Bishop of Bath and Wells had been, I think, in Windsor and Eton, and he bought the same master craftsman. So the building, it's just, you walk in the building and you go,
Yeah.
an amazing, and it's very light, isn't it?
It is.
Very
It's
light.
Right.
It gets
Yeah.
very warm in summer, so and the acoustic, it gets very sweaty, but
Right.
don't tell anybody about that. Okay, and but I think the organ is really fabulous. My predecessor Peter King did an amazing job with the organ. It's a great vibrant sound. It speaks with a German voice and a British voice. It's got about half the pipes are old hill pipes, so it speaks with interesting kind of combination of voices. It speaks in a very kind of vibrant, exciting, fiery kind of way, but also kind of gentle and beautiful. And the acoustic is amazing, and I think the architecture. I mean, so the challenge is for us to make the music as good as the building.
Yes.
That is quite a.
Well, I have to tell
that's quite-
I'll tell the challenge is, for me, make the preaching almost as good as the music. I mean, you can't go to a church service and have this music at this level and then have the preaching at this level. But yeah, I'm completely aware of that. You're right. It all has to be a whole, and the music is part of the way that happens.
So much of modern life is about kind of let's invest this in this building that'll make that much profit. You wouldn't build a building like Bath Abbey on a commercial reason, would you?
Right.
And the fact that it was built by our forefathers to do it as a place of pilgrimage, to inspire people, to draw them to God, that is a big statement, isn't it? Which we're not doing as often nowadays, but I think we are in our music still doing the same thing. We're ambitious to be the best we can, because that's what we're doing, we're worshipping.
So true. And it's such a blessing to meet you, Huw. So I'm here with Huw Williams. He's the Director of Music at Bath Abbey, and my name is Malcolm Clemens Young. I'm the Dean of Grace Cathedral in San Francisco, California. Thanks for watching More Good News.